Thank you very much. My colleague Governor Mutua, Ambassador Whitman, Prosper Africa, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I've been called by CS Mutua, my colleague, because he said here that Kenyans are generally good-looking people, and he had to produce a sample. So, but my work this morning really is actually to provide the roadmap for after all this speech. How do we make it happen? That's really my job. And I want to say that what we are doing is we are providing an environment that is conducive for investment, starting with the strategic trade and investment partnership that we are discussing. Just last week, we concluded the second round of face-to-face negotiations in Nairobi, and we are going to be back here in the U.S. in the month of July for the third round. And I'm very certain that by close of the year, God willing, we are going to put pen on paper for the first ever strategic trade and investment partnership by the United States in the continent of Africa. This should really speak to you, and it should really to speak to your checkbooks and to your pockets as you make this decision. So this is a manifestation of the commitment of the government of Kenya and the government of the United States to ensure that your investments are safe and that we really provide an environment that is good for your business. I am also in charge of ensuring that most of those challenges that Meg Whitman has talked about in terms of the business environment, the regulatory environment, we've given ourselves up to only 6 weeks to, pass the legislation that President Ruto announced at the sidelines of AmCham that are going to ensure that we provide an environment that's really good for your business. And these are not mundane changes that we are making. Some of them are very bold and very far-reaching. I'll just give an example. Today in Kenya, if you want to set up a data center, you need to have a local partner, a Kenyan, owning up to 30%. And, it was a difficult decision, and I had to go around the country and tell young people, if you are dreaming that you are going to be the local partner for Google or for Amazon, it will not happen. And therefore, having prepared our people now, we look forward in the next 6 to 8 weeks to ensure that you can be able to own 100% of all businesses in the tech sector, up to 100%. Elimination of the digital services tax, something that has been of major concern, and a raft of so many other issues that Ambassador Whitman and President Ruto have been leading that effort in terms of reform. So how do you invest in Kenya? And there are 4 ways you can invest in Kenya. First of all, you can just come to Kenya. Our procedures for opening a business is very much streamlined. Within 24 to 48 hours, you've got your business. It doesn't happen like that even in Delaware. So it can't get better. So you can come as yourself, as your business, to open a branch, an offshore subsidiary of your company, a fresh company registration. And by the way, you do not need to know anybody, not even Alfred Mutua, for you to be able to open a business in Kenya. It is that straightforward, and most of our services are actually digital. By end of July, we are going to have 5,000 government services available online on our digital platform, the e-Citizen, as part of our e-government approach, and you can be able to take advantage of that. You can also choose to invest in the Nairobi Securities Exchange, one of the most robust, most liquid exchanges in Africa, and which this year we are going to deepen, the scope and the breadth of the capital markets through a number of listing and privatization. Some of the brands that you've seen here that Meg has talked about. Government of Kenya owns up to 20% of Isuzu. That is going to be available for sale this year. Government of Kenya owns 20% of the bottling subsidiary of Coca-Cola. That is going to be up for grabs this year, and many other privatizations, including our pipeline company and the 2 companies that are controlling our renewable resources, that is Kengen and Geothermal. That is talking to the commitment of the government of Kenya in terms of ensuring that we exit the space of enterprise and we let the private sector grow. The other way that you can be able to invest in Kenya is by taking advantage of our special economic zones with all the incentives and that come with that. And Moderna has chosen that route, choosing to set up within our special economic zone of Tatu City. And I think somebody from Tatu City is right here. And he has whispered to me that he's not fully booked, so you can catch up with him right here. Our export processing zones, which account for 70% of the exports to the United States, mostly powered by apparel. Megas talked about apparel. By the way, we are having a waiting list of 300 companies trying to relocate, especially from Asia to Kenya, to take advantage of AGOA, the duty-free, quota-free market access program that fuels our exports to the United States. And finally, for those of you who are risk-averse, we are working now with the World Bank to set up the Kenya Jobs and Economic Transformation Program, what we are calling KJET, which is really a crowdsourcing platform that's bringing together companies and institutions, including U.S. government companies like U.S. Exim, U.S. Trade and Development Agency, and all of you are free to come and join there. So there may be some reasons why you may not want to invest in Kenya, but surely it cannot be because of lack of choices. Maybe you don't like my face. But what I foresee going forward is that I am sure, going by the way this relationship is going, that in the coming 2 years, two things I'm very confident of. One, 2 out of 3 new investments in Kenya are going to come from the United States. That's assuming that Meg Whitman continues. I'm going to confiscate her passport when she gets back to Kenya to ensure that we continue with this journey and prosper Africa, to continue ensuring that we create that environment that's conducive for you to enter Kenya. And second thing is that for another 10 years, the New York Marathon and the Boston Marathon are going to be won by Kenyans. So that's speaking to the certainty of this relationship. So with those few remarks, let me take this opportunity to invite Mr. Aden Mohamed, the Presidential Advisor on Economic Affairs, to come and make his presentation. Thank you very much.